We are going to be learning jQuery this week, and it'll be an introduction to jQuery. In following weeks, we will be using both jQuery and JavaScript. So we'll start using jQuery this week, but we will continue using it until the end of the semester. You are going to want to read chapter 7 in your book and then go through the key concepts which basically will provide more information about jQuery. And you'll notice that I've put the video links up at the top, and these are for all of the sections of the key concepts. So as you read through here, if you click on the video link, it will walk you through basically the different commands. It'll walk you through code examples and explain what the code is doing. And as you scroll through here, you will notice there's all sorts of interactive examples. And you can see how powerful jQuery is. So basically, clicking the button makes the paragraph disappear. And this is the code that did it. So jQuery basically takes several JavaScript commands and kind of wraps them into a single command. So you can accomplish a lot with very little code in jQuery. So this document explains how to use jQuery. So as you go through here, I encourage you to try all the examples because it is going to help you understand it better. And this is kind of lengthy, but the reason it's lengthy is because of all the examples. Okay, so I've got lots of links to W3 schools where you can play with the code, which is another great way to learn. So I encourage you to take advantage of all of that. And then you're going to come into the lab assignment. And I think one of the best ways for you to really understand the difference between jQuery and JavaScript is to take JavaScript code and convert it to jQuery. And so what I've done to kind of help you out, because you have Windchill and you're familiar with that. So the Windchill files you are going to copy from lesson 5 to lesson 6, and then you are going to convert them into jQuery. Now, one thing you are going to have to add to windchill.html is this script tag. That is super important because that is for the jQuery library, and we're pulling in the CDN. So this is a live link, and without this, it will not recognize your jQuery code. And there's a little note where you put this line of code. It can go above or below the link to your JavaScript code. Then you're going to open up your JavaScript code for editing and convert it into jQuery. Now, to help you out, I went through a similar example uh, and went through the process of converting. So for those of you that like to read through everything, this is the BMI example. You can read through kind of a step-by-step explanation of how you go about converting the code. I do realize that some of you are a lot more visual, so there is also a video that will walk you through, how to convert that BMI code, which is very similar to what you have to do in Windchill. Okay, so I encourage you to take advantage of those resources because it will help you understand what you need to do in this Windchill file. Then your second task, and this is going to be, I believe you'll find it fun. um, you are going to download this file, and then you're going to change the CSS, the Move Me ID, and basically you are going to create a bunch of movable letters. And the way we do that is we just take the IDs and make them draggable. And this is in jQuery. And so you'll be able to actually move the letters around and make words, which is kind of cool. So I do have a video kind of explaining what you need to do, but that is the gist of this exercise. And once you go through this exercise, you are going to understand how draggable works. So you are going to be able to create your own drag and drop creation. So this creation should have a responsive format so it is mobile friendly. I do have an example, and it'll be something like this. Now, if you want to use this as one of your final project games, you can. You need JavaScript, one in JavaScript, and HTML5 canvas. You need a jQuery game, which this is. And then the third one can be your choice. One thing with this, the images that you pick, you definitely want to pick PNG files that have transparent backgrounds. You can remove backgrounds and save them as PNG files. LunaPic does let you do that. And if you're familiar with Photoshop or other editors, you can do it in there as well. The rendering order does make a difference on what goes in front and what goes in back. And the rendering order is simply the order that you have these images in your HTML. Okay, that is the rendering order. Okay, but this can be one of your games. And a lot of students choose to make it a puzzle. They will use editing software. They will break an image into pieces and then use this drag and drop to, put the pieces together and create the puzzle. So that is task 3. And task 4 is to do a jQuery list app. So in the book, they have a bucket list. And so here is an example of what is in the book. And you can do a new item. You can click the item and delete. And you'll notice that the numbers will change here as I view the item. Okay, so you can do it like the one in the book. That is perfectly fine. Or there is another jQuery feature for creating lists that you can use. I do have videos that walk through the code. Here is my example of a bucket list. Okay, see how I made this my own? So if you guys are going to do the one like the book, you do need to make it your own. So you got to find your own icons. I call mine a bucket list. You can do any kind of list. But it should have the same basic functionality where you're incrementing the number, you can delete, you've got a little icon, okay, but it does need to be your own creation. So that is one option. And as I said, there is a video that explains this. The textbook author, if you use their example, let me pull it up again. They, in their CSS, they included CSS for the entire chapter. So what you're seeing here is not just the CSS for the list, It's for everything that's in Chapter 7. So that might not be the best example for you to look at. The one that I did, I stripped out the extra code that we don't need. So the CSS that's in here is just for the bucket list. Okay, so that will probably be a little bit easier for you to work with. And then likewise, my JavaScript is what I needed for the bucket list only. There's no additional, or my jQuery, there's no additional jQuery in here. It's just what I needed for the app. The other option, and this is one that I actually like better. You can pick your own background graphic. You'll notice that it's going to increase the list here, and you can add. What I like about it is that you can drag and you can move things around. And if you want to delete, you can just click and it deletes the item. So I think this is super easy to use. Okay, and the code for this, here's the CSS. Okay, and this is all pretty normal CSS. I mean, there's nothing unusual about this. This is stuff you guys are all familiar with. And then here is the jQuery. So you can see it's a lot less jQuery, but it's pretty powerful. Okay, and the video explains what it's doing. So definitely watch the videos so you can see what the code is doing in each of these applications. Okay, so that is the assignment. And again, remember task 3, you can use as one of your games. So that brings me down to the term project. This week, I just need a proposal from you. So we've already done a couple assignments that you could actually incorporate into your term project. We did the animated one in JavaScript, and we've got this draggable feature in jQuery. So that's 2. And we've also used Canvas. So you've got 2 things done, and the third one would be your choice. So when you come in and you do your proposal, I want to know what you're thinking of for your 3 games. And this is not set in stone. If you change your mind, a month from now, that's okay. But I just kind of want initial idea of what you're thinking of doing. And what students tend to do is they pick things that are really hard and then they run out of time. So if you plan on using 2 of your existing projects, your third one can be more difficult, okay? Because you've already got 2 of them done. So you can spend quite a bit of time on that third one. Okay? But if you're going to do 3 that are all difficult, you might not have enough time to get all 3 done. Okay, so keep that in mind when you are submitting what you are thinking of doing. So that is due this week. And I did include an overview of the project and the milestone, first milestone, what the instructions are and the showcase instructions. You'll notice it's not due for several weeks. I also have a video in here that explains what you need to do for that first milestone. But I will tell you, I mean, you all can watch the video, but I will tell you the first milestone is the interface. And the interface is HTML5 and CSS. Now, students always ask, well, if I want to add JavaScript and, jQuery, can I? Of course you can. That is not a problem. Okay. But So when I have, requirements, they are always minimal requirements. So for the interface, um, this is your minimal requirement, but if you want to throw some, JavaScript in there, that's fine. But you want to make sure you get all of the features in the interface that I am looking for. Uh, and so you are going to want some kind of menu or buttons that are going to take me to your different games. Each game should have a page created, even though the game isn't going to be on the page yet, but it should have a page, um, maybe with a description of the game that will display there. You need to have a cohesive theme and color scheme. Okay, so that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. And these are the requirements. Okay, so you want to make sure that you build all of that in to this first milestone. Okay, and as I said, this is not due for several weeks. You have plenty of time to get that done. And the showcase is basically sharing it with your classmates. And the way we share it in this class, for the people that are in the live stream, they will share it in class and I will videotape it and I will post the videotape to the discussion board. And for those of you that are in doing the online option, you will be videotaping yourself giving the, you know, presentation and demoing your site, and then you will post your own video. So that's kind of how it works. So that's kind of an overview. The only things that are due this week are the programming assignment and the term project proposal. And as I mentioned, that proposal is not set in stone. You certainly can change your mind in upcoming weeks. If you have questions or you run into any problems, let me know. I am here to help you and have a great week.